Welcome to the Family Brand Show. We're Chris and Melissa Smith of FamilyBrand.com, husband and wife, parents of 5, and we want to help you take back your family and to live life on your terms.
And we know being a family can feel really overwhelming. Parents tell us they feel like they're being pulled in a million different directions. It's so challenging to navigate the uncertainty and all the chaos that's happening in the world right now.
And that's why we want to bring you every single week actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become a better parent, to become a better spouse, and to build a stronger family. And look, there's never been a better time and a more important time than right now to take back your family. You can define what your family stands for, or the world is going to do it for you. And the world needs strong families now more than ever. And it starts right here with your family.
Today on the Family Brand Podcast, I am so happy to have Kelly O'Neill with us. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
So Kelly, I met Kelly, what did we decide? Maybe 10 or more years ago, give or take?
A long time ago. Yeah, I met you guys through, well, I met Chris, your husband, her husband, if you guys don't know that. I met Chris at a mastermind event for just high-level entrepreneurs, and then I ended up doing some consulting for him, and then I had him do some consulting with me, and then I ended up meeting Melissa and getting to come to their house, see their kids, meet their horse. It was great.
So full circle to have you here on the podcast again these many years later, and I'm excited. We had a call Kelly and I did a few weeks ago, and some of the things we were talking about on our conversation, I asked her, "Hey, could we talk about this on the Family Brand Podcast?" So we have a really great conversation for you today about Kelly and who she is and what she's about. And also, one thing that I'm excited to dive into is talking about Kelly and her family dynamic that is different than mine. And so I'm excited to, dive into deeper to that. And
yes, I'm super excited to share this.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Who is Kelly O'Neill?
Well, I could answer that question very spiritually, but I will answer that in the human form. So I am a futurist. I am very, very intuitive. I am a brand marketing and business strategist. And what I really do is I am now entering my legacy years. I had a very successful career in corporate America in brand marketing and public relations for tech companies. I am passionate about entrepreneurship. And really, even more so in my legacy, I've been doing this the whole time, but now I'm really shifting my focus to helping brands that are creating socially conscious movements like yours. I'm obsessed, as you know, I'm obsessed with your brand, and helping them create movements that are creating a positive impact in the world. So I do a lot of strategic consulting for companies, entrepreneurs, and that sort of thing. But I also do a lot of work around this brand that I call Epic AF, and a new paradigm of doing business for these visionary entrepreneurs and movement makers. Because my purpose is my life purpose is to help them get their purpose and mission out into the world, so we can all leave the planet a better place.
That's beautiful. So how would you answer? Now I'm so curious. How would you answer in the not human form the question, who is Kelly?
How I would answer in the not human form is, who am I? I am the consciousness that watches Kelly O'Neill roll through the world.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like a big way of being conversation.
That's the super spiritual woo-woo answer, right? Like,
I love the quote. There were spiritual beings having a human experience, and that
right.
ties right.
I am the spiritual being that's watching Kelly O'Neill rock it out on the planet Earth. That's
spiritual. Yes, I love it. Okay, you also, as you alluded to, are an author, podcaster. Let's go there for a minute. Tell me about Epic AF. If people are watching the video, it's behind your shoulder here.
It is behind my shoulder here. It's right here. So essentially, in a nutshell, Epic AF is a movement. And it is a movement to and an invitation for visionary leaders and entrepreneurs to intentionally design their life and business in a way that honors their purpose and helps them leave legacy businesses on the planet, right? So it's really about, we as humans, we are born into a paradigm, right? Like we are born into a box and we are trained into mediocrity or for you to be successful, it should look like this. This is what success looks like. This is what a good mom looks like. This is what a traditional family looks like. This is what you should want. This is how women should show up in the world. This is how men should show up in the world, right? And we've been given this big giant playbook to check the boxes. And then as we come in, we get indoctrinated into that playbook. And we just kind of all adopt those beliefs.
Mhm.
And Epic AF really is the invitation for people to take a step back and like, what if you actually defined life and business on your own terms? What if you were so clear on why you came to this planet and what your divine life purpose was, like why you're here, that you organized your life around that? What if then you got so clear on your desires of what your dream come true life looks like, or for those of you who are business owners, what your dream come true business looks like? And what if you organized and intentionally designed all of your life and business around your purpose and around what it is that you desire in this world? And what if you didn't buy into, or you started to like go, no, it doesn't work for me. What if the ways that everyone's been telling us that we should do things, or this is the right way to do it, like, what if there's actually a better way for us? And it's an invitation to really explore and raise the standard of your life, to really define your life purpose, your desires, and set the standard for what it is that you are meant to create and what you want to create in this world on your own terms. And really, in that essence, we're no longer smacking square pegs into a round hole so that we can fit society's definition. That's what Epic AF is.
I love it. It's a lot of the things you're saying right now are things that I was just talking with Chris. This summer, I've kind of made this conscious decision to really step into being with the kids this summer.
Yeah.
And and that looks like maybe taking a step back from some other things. And so I actually just got it's a newish journal. I'm like only in the second week of it. And that something you said reminded me of something that I have at the very beginning, that I have this like list that I'm trying to fill out this summer, which is, what do I want? And when you said you got to get clear on your desires, I found that is actually kind of challenging for me.
It's challenging for a lot of people. And to be honest with you, it's because first we have to step outside of the box of what everyone tells us we should want, so that we can actually identify what we really do want and the things that really bring us joy. Because if we don't take the time and create the space and maybe even have the structure, which is one of the things I do in my Epic AF masterclass, I actually help people figure that out by giving them the space, the time, the structure, and I have a way of evoking that for people on a subconscious level. If we don't take the time, then we're now literally running our lives by someone else's playbook. And then we wonder why it feels off, or we feel tired, or we're getting sick, or we just kind of feel like blah, or we get resistant, or we procrastinate, or, all of these things that come. And then we think, there's something wrong with me. I must just be lazy. I must just not be motivated. Maybe I'm not cut out to do this entrepreneur thing. Maybe I'm not. and we get in our head and we start telling ourselves all these stories. It's like, well, wait a minute. What if you were just meant to do it differently in a way that really works for you? There is no right way. And that's the other thing. It's, everyone so wants to put everyone into a box, and the only way that they know how to teach them is by putting them in a box. And what I'm here to say is we need to start creating from a place where there is no box, and that you create life and business on your own terms. And forget what everyone else says, because no one else has to live your life.
I love that. And it resonates with me as it relates to a lot of things we teach around family. Like, you get to define who you are, you get to define what you stand for. And it doesn't, maybe that is different than everyone else around you or how everyone else is doing it, but it's yours, your family, and yours alone.
Yeah.
One thing that you mentioned that I think is so big, maybe we can pause there for a minute, is talking about creating the time. Like, I hear from families, like, say if I poll the family brand audience, I say, like, what is one of the biggest challenges facing families today, or your family in particular? People will answer and they'll say, we're just so busy. Like, it feels like we don't have time to be a family, or we don't have time to be as intentional as we would like to be. And so as you're describing your process, that of course resonated with me. You said we have to take the time. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So I'm going to say something that might ruffle some feathers, but that's literally what I'm here to do. Like, I'm a little feather ruffler. Creating that time is a choice. And it's really about making it a priority. When people say, I don't have time, what I really invite people to say when they say that is, I'm choosing not to make this a priority. Because that's really what it is. We all have time for the things that are important. We're just, again, what that tells me is, where are we running by someone else's playbook, and where are we not prioritizing the things that are going to really help us create the family dynamic that we want, right? What's more important, Johnny's soccer practice or setting up the structure for your family, right? What's more important, making sure that we have 5 play dates because we want to be a good mom and we're running around like a taxi, or making sure that that we are creating that space for our marriage, for our partners, for our family time, for this work that needs to be done. Right. And I get it. I mean, I have a child, and we're going to talk about that. And I don't have her full time. We're going to talk about that. And so I get it. I just had her for 2 weeks, and I have a lot of stuff going on right now. And there are times where, I would have to say to her, I chose to say to her, and I chose to do this to also model for her this. I said, I'm feeling really full right now. I'm feeling very overwhelmed, and I'm needing to take 15 minutes to center myself. So I'm going to go into my room and make sure you're set up and you're good to go. But I need to take that 15 minutes to center myself so that I can be there for you. And I take it. Because I know that I can't be the mother that I'm meant to be if I'm not in my center zone. So I choose, you guys have all heard the thing. If you need oxygen, where do you put it first? You have to put it on yourself first so you can take care of your children. You've got to put it on into the time into your family. So it really is looking at the priorities. And are you aligning to the priorities of creating the life, the family, the business that you want? Or are you doing it in alignment with what society expects from you? That would be the question I ask.
Yeah. And like you said, it might look like stepping away from some things that feel like have to do's, like reference the practice, getting the kid to practice, and, all the other things that our lives are filled with. It might look like saying no to some of those things that don't feel optional, but when you really step back and look at it, you're like, oh, a lot of this is optional.
It's very optional, right? And I mean, I get it. I mean, she's got a super full schedule. I had her in camp half days. We were surfing. I take her to riding lessons. Like, we have all the things that need, that we're doing. And also, you've got to intentionally structure your life, because if you don't intentionally structure your life or your family or your business, someone else is going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're not on our terms. Now we're on someone else's terms.
Yeah, I think this would be a good conversation for people to think about. We're in the summer right now. This will be live in the summer. But as we're thinking about structuring our lives again, and when it's back to school, what are we signing the kids up for? What are we choosing to do with our time? Remember this episode, everyone, and think, okay.
Yeah. And think outside the box. I think this is the thing is that, I work with, because I have a lot of clients that are, parents, and sometimes I was like, well, did you ever consider getting a nanny one day a week or getting someone to watch the kids? And they're like, well, no, like, I just feel like I have to do that. And I said, who? Like, what if you doing that actually allowed you to be a better parent, a better partner, a better human, better in your business? What if that was that? And even if they're like, and they're like, oh, but I can't afford it. Couldn't you do a swap with someone else? Like, where you do this one day like, there's always a way, right? We're just not thinking outside the box. Like, if you have a desire, there's always a way to fulfill that desire. We just got to get creative.
It reminds me of my homeschool journey this year, because I ended up hiring a teacher for a few hours a week, and it was like such a game changer. And I'm still homeschooling, but sometimes I feel like I'm maybe cheating, but I'm like, no, I just found a different way that works better for them, honestly, and for me, and it's been amazing.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? Where we do this to ourselves all the time. It's like, I feel like I'm cheating. Sounds to me like you're super strategic and you got everyone's needs met and you're like rocking the mom job, right? I mean, it's just because we're judging ourselves against a standard in society that someone else made up that we're now measuring our lives against.
Totally. That resonates. Okay, if there's someone listening who is feeling, maybe they're feeling like, okay, I can tell that we're just kind of going through the motions. I can tell that there's more for me, but they feel like, life is fine. They feel a little stuck, but they know they're meant for more. What advice would you give to them?
So, yeah, that is, I think a lot of people are going through that. I see that not only just in, I see that everywhere. Now, again, my work primarily is I work in entrepreneurship, but we're seeing this a lot. We're seeing people that, again, like we kind of all signed up. I mean, there's things that I was indoctrinated into as a child that I didn't even, just as an example, and I'm not going to get political here, but as an example, my family dynamic went one way very strongly politically. And I was indoctrinated into that. And I towed that party line until one day when I was in my 20s. And literally I was taught how to vote. And they were like, you just choose, you take the pamphlet, you don't even think, you just check all the boxes. Like, that's how I was taught to vote. Yeah. And then one day I was like, I wonder if I'm actually, like, am I? I don't even know. And I had to take a quiz. And then I was like, I'm not. Like, I am going in the other direction. This is a great example of what I mean by we're just indoctrinated into things. And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't like that. Or what if I don't align with that? So really the first thing is to start asking yourself the questions, right? You got to start asking yourself the questions. If you feel like there's more, that's your intuition saying there's more for you. And there's a couple ways that you can do it, right? You can get introspective. You can go listen to my podcast if you're an entrepreneur. There's lots of podcasts out there. You can work with a coach. You can hire people to help you with that. I mean, again, I lead something called the Epic AF Masterclass where we dive into this. It's really geared towards entrepreneurs though. But I'd start asking yourself those questions, because what if you decided to design life on your terms? What if you have a bigger calling that you didn't even realize you were meant for? Chances are, if you are having that hunch and you're feeling that way, that's the nudge to start listening and to start looking and to start asking yourself those questions.
I can't believe I'm like trying to keep track of the time here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this much time has already elapsed. I want to make sure we talk about your daughter and your unique family. Tell us, it might just be easier if you just tell us the story. Will you tell us about your daughter?
Sure, absolutely. So I'll start off with saying that one of the ways that I started to fly unconventionally in the face of the norm is I had made a decision very young that I wasn't going to have my own children. I knew that I had a huge calling in this world, and I was very, very focused on my purpose in this. I wouldn't have called it that at that time. I just knew that I was meant to do very big work. Like, I came to this planet, and at 16, I knew, like, I'm going to leave this planet a better place than I came into. I don't know how. I don't know what that looks like, but I knew. I knew. I actually call it my God glimpse. I talk about it in my book. And so I chose not to have children. I love children. You know, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, surprised me. And actually, when I married, I was a nanny. So I've always had children in my life. When I got married, my husband had 3 children that I helped raise, who I love to pieces. But I was really more focused in that. So what happened was, several years ago, I was dating a man, and that relationship was not working for me. It wasn't epic AF. It was, so I'll just say that it was not epic AF, but I had met his child and fallen in love with her. And I really, truly believe that we were brought into each other's lives for a purpose. I don't believe in accidents. She actually calls me her soul mom. I call her my soul child. I actually believe now that the entire reason I had that relationship, well, there was a few reasons, like it taught me a lot about myself. I was able to heal a bunch of wounds, but because I got her. And she is my greatest blessing. So I met her when I was 5 years old. And when I decided to leave that relationship because it was just very unhealthy, I'd stayed as long as I could for her. And when I left that relationship, I had already been co-parenting with her mom because they had such an adversarial relationship. And that's something, having grown up in a family that was very dysfunctional and growing up in a family where my parents were, that was very, very contentious. I was like, I will not be party to that. So I had already stepped in to co-parent with the mom so that we could do the best for her. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone's story is. I don't care. I don't care what mom's side is. I don't care what dad's side is. I choose her. I choose her well-being. I choose to support the experience for her. I choose to rise above whatever the silliness is for her because she doesn't need to be around that. And so I'd already stepped in, and it was smoothing things out. And when I decided to leave, my only heartbreak about that was I didn't want to lose touch with her. And so I called her mom and said, I want to let you know I've decided to end this relationship. I want you to also know I am very willing to keep my relationship with her if that's what she wants. And her mom was like, she absolutely adores you. She would be heartbroken, and we would love to have you continue your relationship with her. Well, now her dad didn't love that, and which is fine. He can not. That's fine with me. So, he has asked me many times to stop speaking to her, and I said, I refuse to abandon her. I will not do that to her. I love her, and I will not abandon her. And so what's ended up happening over the years, because she was 5 when I met her, she's 10 now, is it actually has evolved into a relationship where mom and I, because dad's still having challenges, and mom and I co-parent together. So we made a conscious choice and had a big discussion about it where we're like, it takes a village, right? And this is very unconventional, but I love her. She loves me. I really want to show up, and I'm willing to show up as a parent in her life if that supports you and her. And we all decided together that that's what we wanted to create. So we now co-parent, and it's not without little hiccups here and there, but we absolutely work toward her good. We work together, and mom's really relieved because, if something were to ever happen, like let's just say she had to have surgery or there was an emergency, and I'm going to get into the car immediately and go, right? As a co-parent, because she's going to need that support. I take her, she was just here for 2 weeks. I've got her for another 2 weeks next month. I see her every month. I talk to her every day. And we do have like a co-parenting relationship. So if there's challenges at home, like let's say mom and little, I call her my little, say mom and little are having a little disagreement. Sometimes I'll get called in and I'll be like, let's talk it through. Mom and I talk about rules between our house, her house. We both respect each other's boundaries, and we just found a way to work it out. And it's super not conventional, but I choose her.
Yeah, I love that. When we spoke a few weeks ago, I told you that I want to bring more conversations onto the Family Brand podcast that are not, mom and a dad and the 2.5 kids and the white picket fence, because that's not the reality for a lot of families. And I think it's so great to have these conversations where it's like, maybe your family doesn't look like mine, but there's so many beautiful families and they come in all different shapes and sizes. And so I love, the family that you're building. And I like what you're saying too about how at the end of the day, it's about her. And like,
it is
what's
about her. It doesn't even matter what happens between mom and I, because at the end of the day, I choose her, and we're doing this for her. And she's adorable. So I had taken her surfing, and so sometimes she calls me mom, sometimes she calls me Kelly. I just let her do whatever she wants. And so when she introduced herself to someone, oh, I'm Kelly's daughter. And they're like, Kelly's daughter? And she goes, yeah. She's like my bonus mom. I got the expansion pack. So I have 2 moms. That's what she said. I'm the expansion pack.
That's so cute. And I saw you in preparation for this episode. I saw you and her surfing together. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it was beautiful.
And it's wonderful because mom has so many things. Mom's an educator, so she has a lot of things that she brings to the table that give her one perspective of life. I'm an entrepreneur. I bring other and actually mom is now too, because I actually helped mom start a business because, it's catchy like that. But, we just bring different dynamics to the thing. And then we just work together to bring things to light, and support her in the best way that we can.
Okay. I thank you for sharing your story and all of your wisdom, not just.
It is my
family.
pleasure.
I love talking with you. If you could give anyone listening some final words of wisdom or advice, what would they be?
You only have one life in this lifetime on this planet, and don't waste it living by planning your life by someone else's playbook. Give yourself the space to find your own way and what works for you, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to have your cake and eat it too. You get to have all the things that you want in your world. You just have to know what that is so that you can start heading in the direction of that epic AF life.
I love it. And how can people connect with you further?
Sure. I actually have a gift for you guys. So whether or not you're an entrepreneur or not, this would help, it would be helpful anyways. So the book is written, like I said, for our entrepreneurs, but regardless, there's a bunch of exercises in there and questions that you could go through. So if you go to epicisthenewhustle.com, I have an entire swag bag of things there. There's the book, So we've got the book, we've got a 100 plus page workbook that would help you get through a lot of these questions. There's other things for entrepreneurs there, like a CEO job description. There's a $100 off gift certificate for my next Epic AF experience. And again, even that experience, even though I do talk in terms of entrepreneurs, even if you weren't an entrepreneur, it would be really helpful. Like when you're saying, like, how do I even figure this out? I take people through that exercise. So it would definitely, listen, it'd save you a lot of therapy. It would save you a lot of stuff on the back end. So it's worth it. And I'm giving you guys a $100 off coupon. So when you go to the website, just put in the code family brand, all one word, and we will get that swag bag to you free of charge as a gift to all of you.
Thank you. That's so generous
It's
of
my
you.
pleasure.
So everyone go connect with Kelly. I'm excited to dive more into your book too, as you're talking about. I'm like, oh, I think this is going to meet me right where I'm at as I described my personal journey this summer. So yeah, thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm really, like I've told you before, I'm so thrilled, coming from a family that was not functional. I think this work is so, 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 so important. And like I told you, and I've told Chris before, I actually have it. I was just looking at it today in one of my PowerPoint presentations. You can either create or complain. And then I cite you guys for that. So I just think the work is brilliant, and keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for hanging out with us today on the Family Brand Podcast. But wait, before you go, I want to give you something. It's something I stole out of our Family Brand Academy because I thought it would make a big difference for you, and I want you to have it for free, no strings attached. It's how we run our family meetings, and not just our family meetings that we have every week, but also our family check-ins, which is the system we've developed for how to connect with our kids and each other, Chris and I, every single week. And we've had some great outcomes with this. Not only have we, but a lot of families that have implemented this have as well. Actually, life-changing outcomes, if I'm being honest. You'll definitely want to get this. Go get your copy at familybrand.com/meeting, and we will catch you next time.